Hi, this video is on solving square root equations that have two radicals in them. Our general approach for equations like that is going to be first we separate the square roots if needed, then we're going to square both sides. Sometimes you're going to be left with another radical after this is done. Then you're going to isolate the radicals, square both sides again, solve the resulting equation, and then you check your solutions. As always, watch out for extraneous solutions. So this example one is pretty straightforward. All you have here is two radicals and they're already separated. So we can go ahead and square both sides. And that is going to remove the radicals and we are going to be left with simply 2x plus 3 equals x plus 5. So we solve this equation. That's going to give us x equals 2. And we do need to check this. So what we want to do is make sure we don't have anything strange here. So 2 times 2 plus 3 equals maybe square root of 3 plus 5. I'm sorry, 2 plus 5. So this is a square root of 7 equals square root of 7. This is actually true. This is our solution here. Okay. This one. So the square roots in number 2 are not separated, but we can actually go ahead and separate them. That's going to give us square root of 2x plus 1 equals square root of x minus 3. Now we can square both sides. And this is actually the easiest this can be when all you have is two square roots and you can easily separate them. What do we have here? This is 2x plus 1. This is going to give us x minus 3. We solve this, x equals negative 4. We need to check this. So what are we getting here? Square root of 2 times negative 4 plus 1 minus square root of negative 4 minus 3 equals 0. There is already a problem. We are going to end up with a square root of negative 7 here. Minus square root of negative 7, this is not good. So there is no solution here because the only solution that we have is extraneous. Okay. Next problem. We see it's very much like example 1. You can go ahead and square this. But this is going to give you a quadratic equation and we're going to need to solve the quadratic equation that we're going to have as a result. So it is x squared minus 6 equals 4x minus 9. Since it's a quadratic equation, moving all the terms on one side and set it equal to 0. Plus 3 equals 0. So what do we have here? We're going to get, this can be done by factoring, x minus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. We have x equals 3. Or x equals 1. The question is, are they both acceptable? We're going to have to check them. Let's start with 3. Square root of 3 squared minus 6 equals to square root of 4 times 3 minus 9. Problem. Square root of negative 3 equals square root of negative 3. Yeah, that's true, but that's not going to work. We need a real number. So 3 does not work. What about the other one? What about 1? Actually, no. This one's good. This one's square root of 3 equals 3. This is fine. I apologize. What about 1? Square root of 1 squared minus 6 equals square root of 4 times 1 minus 9. This is square root of negative 5 equals square root of negative 5. This is not going to work because we're looking for real numbers. Okay, so the only solution that is going to work here is going to be 3. Alright, this is where it gets problematic when you have two square roots and something else there. Because when you square it, it's going to be challenging and you are not going to get it's not going to be as easy as some of the other problems. So this is what we get when we are going to separate the radicals and get one of them on one side. And the other one's going to be on the other side. So we square that and we square this. But the problem here is when you square the right hand side, you are going to get a trinomial. This side is easy. This is x plus 2. This side's going to be, we're going with the formula a minus b squared, which is going to give us a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So it's going to be the first term squared, that's 9, minus 2 times 3 times square root of x minus 1, plus square root of x minus 1 squared, that's going to give you x minus 1. So we still have another radical. And we're gonna have to square it again, but we're not ready for this yet. We can subtract x on both sides, and this will eliminate that. We're gonna have to combine some of the terms. Let's go ahead and do this first. We have 2 equals 9. 9 minus 1 is 8, minus 6 square root of x minus 1. So what we're gonna need to do is move the 8 on the other side. We're gonna have to subtract this. 8. So what do we have? We have negative 6 equals negative 6 square root of x minus 1. We can divide both sides by negative 6. And we're going to have 1 equals square root of x minus 1. Now we're simplified it as much as we can. So we can go ahead and square it. And that's going to give us x equals, so 1 equals x minus 1, which means x equals 2. So does that work in the original equation? Square root of 2 plus 2 plus square root of 2 minus 1 equals 3. Is that actually true? This is 2 plus this is 1 equals 3. This is true. This value is good. Another problem like that, so now you understand the idea. The square roots will need to be separated. 2 plus square root of x plus 16, so this is the sum that we are going to square. A plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. This is the formula we're going to use when we square the right hand side. So what are we getting? This is easy. This is x minus 5. This side is going to be 2 squared. That's 4 plus 2 times square root of x plus 16 plus square root of x plus 16 squared gives you x plus 16. Again, we are going to be able to get rid of these x's here. And we are going to combine like terms here. So what do we have? We have negative 5 equals 4 plus 16, that's 20, plus 4 square root of x plus 16. And this is going to give you negative 25 equals 4 square root of x plus 16. This is not going to work. I will remind you again why not, because square root here is a principal square root, has to be positive or 0. Multiplied by a positive number is still positive. On the other side you have negative value. This is not possible. So we have no solution here. When that happens, it makes it a little bit easier because you don't have to square it again. All right. Next one. Same concept. Square root of x plus 10 equals 2 plus square root of x minus 6. We are going to square this just like we did in the previous problems. And again, we need to remember that it has to be the right hand side has to be properly squared. X plus 10 equals 4 plus 4 square root of x minus 6 plus x minus 6. Get rid of the x's on both sides. They're going to cancel. We can combine like terms here. So this is 10 On this side we have 4 minus 6, which is negative 2, plus 4 square root of x minus 6. We are going to add 2 to both sides. That's 12 equals 4 square root of x minus 6. Divide both sides by 4. You have 3 equals square root of x minus 6. This looks good. This looks promising. It means we are going to continue with this. So we are going to square this again. And what we want to see is what we are going to get here. This is going to give us 9 equals x minus 6. Looks like x equals 15. Right? So the question now is, does this work in the original equation? Because we need to make sure there are no negatives under square roots or anything like that. It is going to be square root of 15 plus 10 minus square root of 15 minus 6 maybe equals 2. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 9 is 3 equals 2. This is actually correct. Our solution here is 15. Moving on, so in this problem square roots are already separated, and we can go ahead and square it without doing anything extra. But watch out, on the right hand side, on the left hand side in this problem you have to square it properly. This is going to give you 5x minus 5 minus 2 times square root of 5x minus 5 plus 1. On the other side we have 2x plus 4. Okay, in this case the x's do not cancel, and you're gonna have to simplify all that. So let's go ahead, if we can combine like terms first. So this is going to be 5x. We have negative 5 plus 1, that's negative 4, minus 2 square root of 5x minus 5 equals 2x plus 4. Now we're going to get rid of everything that does not have everything except the square root on this side. Minus 5x plus 4 minus 5x plus 4. Nothing cancels, it is what it is. So we're going to get negative 2 square root of 5x minus 5 equals negative 3x plus 8. Unfortunately, there is nothing we can assume here, because yes, we have negatives, but we don't, because x is a variable here, we don't really know if it's going to work or not. We're going to have to square this again. And please be careful, because here you're going to have to square the binomial again, and here you're going to have to square something that has a number outside of the square root. So you're going to have to square negative 2, that's 4. The square root squared will produce the radicand. On this side we're going to have 9x squared minus, it is going to be 6 times 8, 48x plus 64. Looks like we're getting a quadratic equation here. Okay, but first let's distribute this. 20x minus 20 equals 9x squared minus 48x plus 64. Let's go ahead and subtract and add, and subtract and add. We are getting 9x squared minus 68x plus 84 equals 0. I think we're gonna have to use the quadratic formula here. Let's just check one time to make sure everything's done correctly. So we got this squared, we combine our like terms here. We carried it over on the other side. When we squared this, let's make sure square the negative 2, square the square root, square this the binomial. This is 9x squared minus 2 times 3 times 8 is 48x plus 64. Distribute this, 20x minus 20, and then we're going to get rid of those two terms here, bring them over here. This is what we get. I don't think we can simplify that. This is not going to give us a very pretty answer, but we are going to get that done. So x equals 68 plus or minus square root 68 squared minus 4 times 8 times c all over 2a. Alright, I'm going to pull out my calculator because the numbers are kind of high, and this is what we need to be able to do. So let's go ahead and do that. 68 squared, 68 times 68 is going to give us, so this here is going to be 68 plus or minus square root of 4624. Here 4 times 9 times 84. Is going to be 3024 divided by 18. Proceeding with that, minus 4624. This is going to give us 68 plus or minus square root of 1600 divided by 18. This is actually nice because it's 68 plus or minus 40 divided by 18. So what do we get? We have 68 plus 40 divided by 18, which is going to give us 6. And 68 minus 40 divided by 18, which is going to give us, well, 68 minus 40, that's, hold on, 68 minus 40 is 28, so it's 28 divided by 18, which is actually going to give us, we divide both by 2, so it's 14 over 9. So 6 and 14 over 9. Okay, so what we need to do is check them. 6 is easier to check. So x equals 6. You can check that. It's the square root of 5 times 6 minus 5 minus 1. Supposedly equals to 2 times 6 plus 4, and that is going to be giving us 25 here. 5 minus 1 is 4, and this is going to be 12 plus 4 is 16, so 4 equals 4. This is actually good. So 6 is good. What about the other answer, 14 over 9? Not a very pretty one. So what we're going to need to basically, I'm not going to check the whole thing. What I want to do is make sure that this side is not going to give me a negative value. So 5 times 14 divided by 9 is going to give me 7.77, and when I take the square root of that, I'm going to get 2.78. This is actually, so if you check 14 over 9, this is also going to check out. We have two solutions, 6 and 14 nines. Okay, I think there's one more. Okay, it's the last one, I promise. Square, because the square roots are already separate from each other. We get 2x minus 5 equals 1 square is 1 minus 2 square root of x minus 3 plus x minus 3. We need to remove everything from this side, so let's do minus 1 plus 3 minus x. So minus x minus 1 plus 3 to balance it. So what do we have here? We have x. This is going to be negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6 plus 3 is minus 3 equals negative 2 square root of x minus 3. We don't know what's going to come out because even though this has negative, we don't know what x is. We're going to have to square it one more time. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. We're squaring this side, squaring this side, since the right hand side contains only one radical. This is going to be x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 4 times x minus 3. Continuing this, x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 4x minus 12, x squared minus 10x plus 21 equals 0. This factors nicely, not like the previous problem. X minus 3 times x minus 7 equals 0, x equals 3, or x equals 7. The question is, do they actually work? Let's start with 3. Square root of 2 times 3 minus 5 equals 1 minus square root of 3 minus 3. This is 6 minus 1, which gives you 1. Square root of 1 is 1, gives you 1 minus 0. This is good. How about 7? Square root of 2 times 7 minus 5 equals maybe 1 minus square root of 7 minus 3. 2 times 7 is 14, 14 minus 5 is 9. Square root of 9 is, okay, I'll write that. 1 minus, and this is 7 minus 3, it's square root of 4. This is 3 equals 1 minus 2, and we have a problem. This is false. That means 7 does not work. So the only solution that we have here is 3. And this is how it's done. I hope this helps.